Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because they can, and they continue with Amnesia: The Dark Descent, blind. I have unlocked the way to the morgue, so let's go. He waited for his eyes to adjust to the darkness, but no shape or contour appeared, which has repeated from previously. So I guess the game has run out of new...
Do you see, Daniel? It has yielded. What? The shadow. It has? For now. Come, let's get this out of here so we can get some peace.
Yes, let's. Where to?
Just down the corridor, to the morgue.
Are there more dead men there?
You did well, Daniel. Come, let's get going.
Okay, so the game is actually very directly telling me now that I was complicit in the atrocities that Alexander has committed, and in fact, he seems to have convinced me. Whether that was actually true, I'm not sure, but he seems to have convinced me that committing those atrocities was necessary to ward off.
I hear you breathing, Daniel. Do you hear me? Have you changed your mind?
Was necessary to ward off the shadow. And now Alexander is speaking to me, presumably psychically, unless he's like inside the walls. Vaccine trials. The vaccine enabling my men to work in the fungi-ridden sewer is a definite success. Unfortunately, only a few of the servants have been remedied, and as the procedure proved difficult, the others will perish, and I will eventually have to create more of them to keep my experiments running. Note that the injection of vaccinated blood will work as a shield long enough to pass the sewers without any risk of infection. It will do fine for prisoner transport. Okay, that's another one of those magical memory storages. I fear for Daniel, for he is reckless. He is tainted by the approaching shadow and will not be able to pass the gate. Will he be able to accept this in the end? My love, I've seen evil in him. How am I to trust him with the truth? What cruel irony that I have to do unto him what Agrippa did unto me. That's definitely interesting, but I still don't quite understand what's going on. Plague outbreak. The strange deaths among the servants and the prisoners have finally been resolved. It seems that the drain sewer has recently been opened up which recently has been opened up for use as a means of transport, is plagued by a peculiar poisonous fungi. The victim seems to suffer an extremely quick outbreak of sickness affecting the entire body. Some of my men, including myself, are blissfully spared by this calamity, but it is clear that it cripples my progress. The prisoners die quickly, and their contaminated vitae lacks the energy I seek. I shall immediately start working on a vaccine. The body is still stiff from rigor mortis and can be older than a day. Okay. Oh, more corpses. And even more corpses. That's a flower. Interesting. But I can't do anything with it. Don't tell me that the game is expecting me to vaccinate myself with a blood taken from a corpse. That's ridiculous. Like, that's such a stupid idea that it boggles the mind, because, like, first of all, that person has been dead for more than a day. Well, at least a day. Roughly a day. And it has been lying in a damp, underground, filthy place. So, like, even if it still has, like, actual liquid blood, which, to be honest, like, I'm not entirely sure how quickly does blood congeal after death. But, it does eventually. First of all, it pools in the lower part of the body, and then obviously it would, because it doesn't flow anymore, it would eventually congeal inside the body itself. So even if that was possible to do, that's still stupid as frick. Like, disregarding the fact that, obviously I'm pretty sure the actual treatment of vaccinating yourself with the blood of another person is kind of bogus to begin with, but even if we assumed it would work like this, that's still stupid. Like, there's like at least 3 ways that could kill you, and let's not even get into the whole serological conflict thing with the blood types, because at this time I'm pretty sure they didn't even know that blood types existed, but they did. They always did. So whenever you did blood transfusions before that, when you didn't know what you were doing, basically, or what you were dealing with, there was a high chance of your own body killing you when you gave yourself the wrong blood type. So that's stupid, but it kind of seems that what the game is pointing me towards, especially with this note that the corpse in the morgue is only a day old. Okay, so I need like a container to make a syringe, I think.
What happened? Why are all these dead? Where am I? What's happening? Help! Anybody! Help!
Copper tube. Yeah, I've made a syringe. Okay.
2, 3 days now. This is ridiculous. Why doesn't someone come to this room? Hey! Anybody! Am I all alone here? Help! Help! I'm so tired. If I sleep, will I wake from this nightmare? If not, I pray my Heavenly Father will take me in my sleep.
This is ridiculously dumb, but let's do it. Oh, that's a totally new... That's a totally new type of enemy. Alexander must know, knew there must be a way to finish the ritual before it was too late. He had to teach his friend to harvest the vitae, which has, like, I've seen that before. It is also repeating. Henry Bedloe went to class carrying the anger of his bitter mother. He never cried, he made others cry instead. Pain is like that, you either become sad or you become angry. Henry always chose the former, or rather the latter, I guess. I had to sort of invent the end of that sentence because it started to disappear before I read it. Okay, so it changes gear size for something. Okay, I think I should explore the sewer in the other direction, where the monster came from.
What's happening? What are you doing? Let me go! Please, don't take me! Nobody ever returns!
So maybe we can block the road holes. Spinning too fast to be jammed. Okay, so we have to change the rotational speed, which I assume is done by the gears. Okay, judging by the sound, this would be the slowest. One of the barred gates appears to be weaker than the rest. That's a part of...
Daniel, turn around this instant. You are carrying the shadow with you.
That's part of the one of the zombies. It has a very weird mouth. It like unhinges. It doesn't have a jaw really. how am I supposed to bypass it if it doesn't move? There is never any escape. Things like this live with you always. How could he know if Henry would show up down the road, or even at his house? Is he that mad? Okay, there's a giant staircase this way.
August 1839. I can't stop sweating and shaking. The warding ritual was not something of a sane mind. I did not even realize the dungeon was still in use. Alexander had his servants bring one of the prisoners, a murderer, he told me. Alexander made all the arrangements, but he said I had to perform the ritual in order to have the right effect. The shadow could be led astray by the blood of another. Killing the man would provide us precious time. What else could I do? Alexander said it had to be done. He is saving my life. I don't have the luxury of argument.
Yeah, so it's exactly as I sort of thought. 2 levers on the top floor are not working. Probably some problem with machinery. I am like 100% complicit in all of that, and I think possibly I'm even worse than Alexander himself, because I chose to forget all of this. I presume because, it was so heavy on my conscience, but that's somewhat of a somewhat of a paradox, because I feel like choosing to forget the evil that you've done because you feel so bad about it is in itself immoral. Because you're escaping responsibility.
Agrippa, I need you to stay awake. Can you feel the syringe?
No, I can't feel anything. Alexander?
Yes.
Soon, I won't even be able to move, will I?
Your life is safe.
I don't doubt that. But will it be worth living?
Laboratorium. Is that person alive? I would say no, judging by all of the flies. Oh.
Help me. What's the switch?
Will it kill you?
Please.
Sure, like, you don't...
Help me. Thank you. You have my gratitude. My name is Agrippa. Whom are you? Daniel? Like the prophet thrown into the lion's den? Tell me, are you among the lions, Daniel? You want to stop Alexander? Oh my, so Babylon shall fall, you say? You worry too much. Alexander is toothless without an arm. He has one. That's not very promising at all. The sanctum is basically impenetrable, but guessed by an orb. It could be breached by another, but Alexander broke his, my orb, a long time ago. Really? Well, if you tell the truth, by all means, seek out the pieces of the broken orb and mend away. I believe he uses them for torture now. They practically leak madness, which is quite useful, I understand. There should be 6 of them. Look around the choir and the transept. You should be able to find them there.
Wait, I don't understand a certain thing. Like, is Agrippa a disembodied voice?
Dad, I hate to bother you further, but if you're really going after Alexander, would you consider taking me with you? I know it sounds ridiculous. Look at me. But if you find anything concerning a man named Johann Weyer, would you please bring it to me? I believe he was working on a way to help me. A recipe for some sort of potion, a tonic to free me from this husk of mine.
Okay, so that confuses me even further. Agrippa, the dying man, seeks a note written by a man named Johann Weyer. An orb is needed to enter the inner sanctum. Its shattered pieces lie scattered in the torture rooms. That confuses me even further.
Oh, that one. So many of Alexander's things are breaking down. Look around. Maybe the other room. There are machine parts hidden all over this place. You'll find a way to fix it.
Because at first I assumed he's like a disembodied voice, his soul is stored...
Me? I'm Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. I was once quite important, you know. Baron Alexander has sustained my soul in this dead husk for years. Who knows how many? Hundreds, I presume.
But I guess he is actually in that...
Alexander is quite impressive in many ways, but he has grown impatient.
He is actually in that... I'm walking into the spikes all the time and wondering what is hurting me. He is actually partially, at least, inhabiting this body, because he said,
By me? I'm the next best thing. Alexander really wanted none other than Johann Weyer. You never heard of Johann Weyer? My God, boy. He's probably the greatest man in history. And you don't know him? Or is it the world who has forgotten him?
he said something...
Weyer was my pupil. My pupil. Yes, I do take pride in that fact. Is it so wrong? I found a Mithraeum once, one which had not been plundered. Do you know Mithraeum? I suppose it doesn't matter. It is an old faith, building temples out of caverns. The dark walls being the universe, and inside are its followers. Humans watching the sky slowly turn. But the followers do have one thing to allow them a real sense of connection, creation. The orbs. Not many orbs are left. They sometimes consume themselves, or break, when used by an uninitiated. I was lucky. The orb I found spared my life and returned to where I found it. I know because Alexander took it and brought it to Brandenburg. Weil was a brave man and dared to proceed where I did not. He unearthed a number of cavern temples and gathered a whole collection of orbs. But unlike every other finder since the fall of the Israel faith, he was able to unshackle the horror you and I connected with the orbs. He used them and was able to travel far and wide, beyond the world itself. Me, powerful. Not the way I hoped for. I've done all that I can to escape this prison. But now, I use all my strength merely to stay alive. My pupil, Johann Weyer, said he'd found a way to take me with him beyond the stars. But I was too afraid to come along. Seriously. And now, all I can do is regret it. I've always hoped Fire would return and give me a second chance. But so does Alexander. That's why he keeps me here, as a hostage, hoping Fire will reveal himself. You're a good boy, Daniel, and I appreciate your company. But I believe you have more important things to take care of.
Well then, you could have spouted all of your lines at once.
You should hurry, Daniel. No time for sitting around.
Rather than make 10-second interval. Well, it's not 10 seconds, it's more like 5 seconds. But rather than making periodic intervals between them. Now, that guy doesn't have a lower jaw. Is it like an intermediary state of turning into those zombies? Because they don't have a lower jaw either, and their mouth like descends, it like unhinges. Well, I guess it can't unhinge if there's no jaw, because the jaw is the hinge in question, but you know what I mean. It's sort of stretched out. Chancel.
I know this. I've been here already. I know this taste. taste of Damascus rose obfuscating the truth in a dim haze. They may sweep the traces from my memory, but my body remembers. These cuts speak volumes, even though my mind remains silent. They will be back. They will be back.
What would the meat be used for? Slab of fresh meat. Maybe I can distract some monster with it. The thick liquid spread across his tongue. He swallowed excessively to consume every drop. He looked through the window at the widespread forest and the morning sun. Will this ever end? He thought.
Just like Regent's Park.
Just a little further.
It's like Orpheus descending into the underworld.
Are you hiding something?
What do you mean?
Never mind. Your intuition is remarkable.
I'm not sure I'm following.
It doesn't matter. It's just a myth after all.
The pedestal has a smooth hemispherical depression at the top for the orb, right? It's very obvious to me I can't cross this. I'm not sure why he would touch it, but I thought he would just make a remark on it. A mystic barrier blocks passage in the chancel.
August 1839. Banishment ritual is taking longer than expected, and we have to do what is needed. I spend my time helping out the prisoners. Being around these degenerates makes me ill. None of them even tries to face their punishment with any kind of dignity. They taunt me with their lies of innocence and their cowardly pleas of mercy. What can make a man fall so far from the grace of a civilized existence? They are all wicked men, and I remind myself of it constantly. Still, I am thankful for God sending these monsters our way, as they will serve as the instruments of my salvation. I try to study the different tools in the torture chamber and learn how to use them effectively. Last time was messy, and the effect suffered from my inexperience. When the next warding is to be performed, I shall be ready.
Okay, the protagonist is an absolute shitlord. He has killed and tortured an undisclosed but presumably pretty large amount of people. and he all the way convinced himself that they are actually horrible criminals, even though they, even though they claimed otherwise. And other evidence seems to suggest that they were actually telling the truth, right? Because the Baron was kidnapping people from the surrounding lands. So, like, I despise Daniel, and I despise him all the more for the whole forgetting things stuff. So I hope there is a way in which I can stop Alexander by, like, killing myself alongside with him. I think that would be right. The shattered orb. All is lost. I must once again start over. Ever since I recovered the orb first found by Agrippa, I have depended on it for my research. The incident with Wilhelm made me most impetuous. Fearing a paucity of prisoners, I proceeded with the final ritual without proper foresight. The orb cracked and fell into 6 pieces. I have tried everything, but I have yet to mend the thing. Unless I can think of a way to piece it together, I will have to find another. There is still life in the pieces, and even if the orb isn't restored, I might be able to salvage some of its power for some other purpose. Centuries have passed in vain, and I begin to wonder, will I ever be able to see my love again? How much longer can I sustain my life? Interesting. I'm unsure how does the love feature into this, but to be honest, like, I feel that's inconsequential. What I've learned about Alexander and about Daniel, they have done such horrible things that to me there is no goal that would justify that. Like, even if the game tries to sell me some sob story about Alexander was actually trying to restore his dead love of his life to life or whatever. Like, I don't care. You just don't do things like that, regardless of what it is. Like, even if he wanted to, I don't know, achieve eternal world peace or bring heaven on earth or whatever, you still can't do that by doing things that he has done. So to be honest, I don't particularly, like, I care about his reasons for the sake of the story being complete, but not because I assume they are going to convince me. I don't think they are. What's the...
Is this your time witnessing, Daniel? If so, blame yourself. You started this. You sent me that letter asking for help, and this is how you repay me? How dare you?
Like, as far as I'm concerned, we're both horrible people. Not not entirely sure what to do here. Had gone too far. The man was suffocating and could no longer breathe properly between the lashes. Displeased, he started to look for the Damascus rose oil.
These cells are meant to hold prisoners who are under treatment. The people you send for will end up here. Remember that the confinement itself works as a preamble to the torture, and you should pace yourself. Don't take anyone before they are ready.
Understood.
Sounds from the torture chambers are shuttled in through those pipes in the ceiling. Manage your victims well, and let one prisoner's pain instill terror in his cellmate.
Ah, you again. You're a good boy, Turner. And I appreciate your compliment. But I believe you have more important things to take care of.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't exactly know what to do.
It can go back. But should I? The problem is, I'm so down. If I can't manage, anyway, makes things easier for me because I know there are ways to proceed heading forward.
There has to be some use for the piece of meat. Not to mention the tar, but... Carefully cutting the man open made him think. This is how Father must feel about his craft, being an artisan, relying on one's skill to perform something so delicate. Grant a certain amount of pride. Pride. Fuck off with that. What? Okay, I have no idea, like I clicked it just because, but I have no idea why putting the tar in here was supposed to be a good idea. Okay, this seems significant to me. Like, maybe this is a clue of what I'm supposed to lay on here. Like there are symbols. Are they repeated on this? Not really. But maybe they are repeated on something in this room. This very much looks like a place where something should be laid down, and the symbols might suggest like relations between objects. Is there like a ram or something? Because that would be a ram's head. Like technically speaking, it's a pentagram, but there is nothing that specifically looks like a pentagram. So. Scattered in the torture rooms, but where are the torture rooms? Like, I've been to the morgue, but that wasn't the torture room in itself. Okay, I'll run around some more, but I will do it next time, because this episode has been long enough. So that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.